I think that we've been hearing the world is going to end for so long that people are numb to the idea of the world ending.
What was that shit? The chicken? What is that? What is that called?
Chicken Little. It's the chicken that cried, or the boy who cried wolf. Or
yeah, the boy who cried wolf. Chicken Little.
But Chicken Little is the sky is falling.
Yeah.
And I think because we've heard it for so
Same
long,
message, right?
It's the same message, right? And I think what we're dealing with now is like a sort of fatigue from this whatever. But the reality is, it's hard to look at a religious, multinational conflict supported by the world's superpowers on opposing sides and not feel like something bigger is happening. But you can't really think about it because I got bills and shit to pay, right? So I think that's like the key to the way that we're governed is to keep prices just high enough to make you work a little bit more than you want to. So you don't have enough free time to sit around and think. You have with your little free time, you have to pick. Are you gonna be super informed, or are you gonna fucking have friends and family? Are you gonna know what's going on globally, or are you gonna fucking have self-care? You know what I mean? And you don't have time for all of them. You have to fucking pick. Somebody posted today about children with rich parents being artists, and how much of a privilege it was to be able to pursue art as somebody wealthy, because it doesn't become something that if you don't make money doing it, you're going to starve. Man. And then someone said, the bigger point here is when money is not an issue, people become artists. It's not so, you know what I mean? Like, let's leave deep. The Nepo conversation out of it. Let's talk about the reality that if you did not have to worry about money, people would create. We don't create because we don't have time. Yeah. We don't have the energy. We don't have the resources. But everybody has some type of art. Everybody has some type of joy. That's what capitalism robs you of. It doesn't rob you of anything that, like, your humanity is gone too, but you don't need your humanity.
You just said something that's so profound.
That's rare.
If multiple... no, but it is. Like,
my bad.
Because if multiple religions and multiple cultures look at art and creation as your connection to the creator, and the creator working through you to create, right? Whatever that art form may be, because what do they say? Life imitates art, or art imitates life.
Right.
So if we are literally being vessels for this art to happen and come through us, but the world is saying no, and we don't have time for that, well, what the hell does that say about the world we live in?
What does that say about the world? And also, there's a bigger conversation on book TikTok. I guess they call it book talk or whatever.
What the hell is book talk?
Book talk is where people are on TikTok and they discuss, literature, whether it's young adult literature, classic literature, whatever. And it's like a lot of people have followings based on their discussions around literature, right?
Did you just tell me virtual book clubs?
Effectively, yeah. Now, here's what something that's interesting is very recently.
Yeah, I was about to shit on that, but that actually it's pretty cool.
I mean, it is. It's what the internet is good at. It's when the internet is at its best. It's when it's helping you find people who have the same interest wherever they are in the world. Now, here's where
sharing knowledge via
and doing positivity.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets weird. There are a lot of people now who are unable to enjoy a book unless they can put themselves in the protagonist's shoes. If they can't see themselves in the main character, they can't enjoy the book. And then there are people who are having this discussion around the idea that there's too much storytelling in the story. Just get to the plot. Like, why are you describing the clouds? Why are you describing the room? And it hit me. At first, I was like, these joyless motherfuckers. But then it hit me, no, really, these people have no joy. Not them. It's not a human moral failing. It is a systemic failing, right? Because if you need everything to be literal, right? Because that's what art is. Art is, I love you. Okay, that's a statement. My love for you is more than 1,000,000 burning suns. If you hear that second sentence and go, nuh-uh, because 1,000,000 burning suns would destroy everything, shut your goofy ass up. Like that's people who can't appreciate art. That's not a failing on their part. That's the world going, hey, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for the flowery language. We don't have time. We used to talk about stopping and smelling the flowers. Now motherfuckers can't even stop to read beyond the headline. We started at long YouTubes. We got down to Vine. Vine was where big stars were made, right? The biggest stars we have right now who aren't like the traditional celebrities, many of them came from Vine.
DC Young.
The Logan brother, the Paul brothers, Batch, King Batch, DC Young Flock. Like all of these people started on.
Fox, you mean?
Fuck you mean, boy? Bring that ass here, boy. All that stuff came from Vine. We have shrunk everything down, and now everybody has ADHD. Oh, he has attention issues. No, we don't have attention issues. We have given everybody attention issues. We told them they could get everything in life in 6-second increments. And if it takes longer and I have to do more work than that, I don't. My son says to me all the time, I don't want to do that. That's boring. Dog, it's brushing your teeth. It's not supposed to be fucking exciting. Yeah. It's supposed to keep your teeth from falling out.
But to your point, people have associated so much with like really fast gratification, right?
Instant.
They like, yo, I need that
Instant.
right. Instant.
Yeah.
I need that right now. I ain't trying to wait.
That's what the problem with the phone is.
But dog,
everything's at your fingertips. So
it's linked into all of the arts, because I've heard some really amazing people in the game going all the way up to like Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen with their company. They have an amazing point where like, yo, people's attention span is shifting really fast. No more movies, series only. Like, and everyone knows.
Have you noticed that series are the movie stars have? And this is about a decade ago. It started really, really happening. Mm-hmm. There was a time when I was young where movie stars would not do TV.
Yeah.
They saw TV as a step down.
Yes.
And most TV stars wanted to be in movies.
And now most TV is better than movies.
Most TV
because
is better
the
than
money
movies.
Is
a limited series is just a long fucking movie.
Yeah,
matter of fact,
I know, but I can. But I'm also of the. I have a bit about this on demand and like in other ways like GoPuff and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I am also the person that will watch 4 episodes of a show in a row, but won't watch a movie.
So here's something I think is
because
interesting.
I'm like, that's going to take up too much of my time. It's going to be too much
the same
of like
amount of fucking time.
A mental
but
commitment.
It's the mental commitment.
The
because you have
there
to
you
follow
go.
the story.
Yeah.
And so I saw I was in the airport today.
It's the you know what it is too. It's the commitment to that much time of not working.
Of not working because you need to be.
And I'm going to take it. Trust that I'm going to take it.
You're going to take it either way.
Yeah.
But that came out weird. But the point is that don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. You made it worse. I was in the airport today in the TSA pre-check, and
he's getting.
That's right.
There was a young, 2 young people in front of me, and they were saying we should be at the point now with technology where you can just walk in, scan your phone as soon as you come in, and then it just lets you go through a gate. We shouldn't have to do all of this in a line. And it hit me that their experience, because they were early 20s,
they only know
not
this world.
experienced waiting. They don't know that we used to have to actually go to the airport to buy the ticket. You couldn't even fucking buy the ticket unless you physically went to a place, bought it, and they printed it out and handed it to you. So for me, this is fucking, I can get it on my phone? Ha, this is amazing.
They don't understand that you had to go and wait for them to weigh your package or weigh your luggage.
Weigh your luggage.
What no just crazy, walking through?
Here's what's crazy, though. Now I'm the person who's the old guy who goes, fucking kids, they don't know what it was like. No, they don't. And why should they?
I mean, I feel that.
Right.
Too.
Like, why should you know, though? Like, why should a kid, my son, my daughter, I remember the first time she asked me what grade I was in when I got my first iPhone, and I almost choked her. Because the fuck do you mean what grade was I in when I got my first iPhone?
They didn't exist.
Didn't even fucking exist when I was in school. You horrible fucking person. You just made me feel so old.
What grade were you in, Kyrie?
I don't want to talk about my collegiate years.
So you were in college?
Yeah.
I was in college too.
Yeah.
I was 35 when the iPhone came out. It came out in 2007. So do you understand, like, no conversation around that kind of technology even sounds... My son does not know what life without an iPad looks like.
Yeah.
He has never experienced in his cognizant era life without the ability to grab a thing and go watch a video. And it's hard to make him read. You have to reward his reading with a fucking pizza or
candy,
something.
a trip to somewhere.
Because
because the games do it too. Yeah, it's all.
And say it out loud. Why the hell am I using my eyeballs to do this when I could just make it talk to me?
I could just make it to. He listens to audiobooks.
And to your point, it's like they're not wrong.
That's
what they've been fed. So like it's
and not only that,
they don't know any different.
Well, we also have this this confirmation bias. We talk about recency bias, but old people don't talk about traditional bias, right? Like, because this is how it was when I grew up, it's better than what they're doing now. That's not accurate.
Yeah.
So a lot of shit that was happening. There was leaded gas when I was born, motherfucker. Like there's a reason they call the gas unleaded when you go to the gas station.
You just went ham right
because it used to be leaded. And now we can't imagine that we used to put something in our cars that was going to emit exhaust that was going to make the whole population dumb, because that's what happens with lit. That's why they took it out of the paint.
That's why
they took it out of the gas.
Water.
That's not why it's not supposed to be in the water. So the fact that it used to be done this way doesn't mean that was a better way.
Yeah.
And just for
nobody write cursive. I don't write cursive. I know how. I don't.
But you can't sign a check without writing cursive.
Yes.
But you can.
You can.
You can print your fucking name. They're not gonna stop cashing your check.
You can stamp them now.
Not just that. What? Here's the crazy part. Not just that, but whatever your original signature is, that's the signature they use. So if you printed your fucking name, that's what they go by. When you go to put it in the machine, it reads
just that print.
Does this match what you originally did as your signature?
That's it.
And so no, nobody needs that. We just assume we like, but what if you what? What other thing other than signing checks or signing contracts do you write in cursive?
So
well, I mean
I write my jokes in cursive, but I'm one of the few people who still writes jokes. Like not everybody writes their jokes in a notebook.
Dog, a lot of people can't make a Z in cursive right now because they stopped teaching it in schools.
Right, but I think it probably there's got. Well, I could be wrong about this, but probably linking letters to. I mean, it feels a little more. It has to be good for your brain.
100% writing is good for your brain.
Well, and I'm saying especially cursive, writing connecting the letters and finding the way to connect the first one to the next one to the next one. That
you
has
don't even have to actually write it on paper, but you have to see it.
Left side of your brain.
Yep. And you have to see it. Even kids who in Arabic and madrasas, they used to write in the sand. And because they would write it in the sand and they were training their memories, by the time the lesson was over, they would wipe that and then go on to the next thing. But they had remembered it because their brain saw it happen in their hand.
And the kinetic memory is also at work.
They weren't even using a pen. They were literally using their fingers in the sand.
You're still making that motion, and so your brain is still recording that motion, that sequence to that letter or to that word.
Right. And we homeschool, so the first thing we do every lesson is write. The first thing that he does is he pulls out he learns to write. He's learning how, because it's also art. He doesn't consider writing.
Because calligraphy is 100% of art.
He says, I'm going to draw a letter. And when you think about it.
That is what you're doing.
What is he doing?
He's drawing.
So, I mean, that's his first thing. It's all art to him. And I try to teach like it's art. There's no point in making this academic and that art.
You know what's funny? I have very
looking for my chicken sandwich.
Yeah, I know, and I apologize. I'm on my phone too. But to our point about technology and evolution, we're like trying to schedule classes in the jail tomorrow morning. And it's like I can do all this right now, which is a good
responding
thing.
Responding to emails and podcasting at the same damn time.
It's a good thing and a not thing because I'm not fully present here.
That's why my show was. That's why my set wasn't good last night. I wasn't fully present.
Yeah,
I could not get fully. I could not. No matter what happened. I knew the people were there, but I was thinking about a bunch of other stuff. I was thinking about how I should have promoted it, you know what I mean? What am I going to do differently next time? All of that's happening as I'm walking to the stage. So when I'm like, hey, what's up, everybody?
You're not there.
I'm not, what's up, everybody? I'm like, how y'all doing? And it's almost like my mind's not here. That's not acceptable when somebody paid money to see you. So for me, a bomb doesn't have anything to do with how the audience is necessarily receiving what I'm doing. It's what I feel like I didn't give them. They deserved better than what I gave them. They laughed, that is fine, but I know.
But Monk, I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. You just said something that made me feel pretty good. They was like, you're elevating when you're not worried about your material.
Bruh.
No, I know it's funny. I'm pissed that I didn't sell out. I'm pissed that I didn't, X, Y, and Z. I'm a little salty that my bank account is negative. I need them to give me the check on the spot.
Listen.
You know what I mean?
Listen to me.
You've been doing it a little longer.
Listen. I've had shows, and we talked about this on my original episode. It's not linear, but I know I can always look forward to this. That the reason I love going to DC is because every year my DC show gets bigger.
That's raw as fuck.
So imagine if last year was over 600 people. This year you're like, okay, well, we're trying to do 750, 800. I'm not trying to do 6 to 625. I'm not trying to add 5 people per night over a 5-show thing. I'm trying to add 30. If you add 30 people to a show, that seems like a small number, right? That seems manageable. But if you add 30 people to a show for 5 shows, that's 150 extra people at $25 a person. That's a significant jump in income. And if you can do, like, there's not a lot of comics that, if we're being honest, are doing $10,000 in a weekend.
Brother.
If you do $10,000 in a weekend, how many weekends do you have to do to make the national average income? Not be rich. I'm talking about what we do for a living is already stealing. We're already stealing. I work for an hour at a time, every now and then.
Well, also,
I won't let you say that because you put in years before them people
I
started.
did.
I'll sit.
They're
I'll
paying
sit-
for them years that you
I'll
put
sit
in.
But
firmly
so
on
are
the
the
other side
people
of
who-
that table.
But so are people who went to college and now I don't owe anybody money for the years that I put in. Now, to be fair, I probably owe my liver an apology. But when you think about the people who are, if somebody makes 90 grand a year doing stand-up,
Bro, you
that
don't
is a
understand.
lot
You
of
are in the
fucking
upper
money.
echelon
You in
of
the
comedians.
but
You
could
probably
be-
got
but-
Kevin
but
Hart
here's
on
the
your
thing-
line.
But here's the thing: you can make 90 grand a year and not have a big following.
Yes.
That's true. Especially if you work in the cruises and corporates.
You work in the
Ooh,
cruises
you
and
can do it.
corporate. You're doing some one-nighters where you might make $1,200 for the
I'd
one-nighter.
say there's
You're
at
doing
least a handful of Chicago comics making that money.
Hell
without,
no.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
think
could.
so?
I could name 5.
I could probably off the top of my head.
90K.
I could name 5 off the top of my head.
If not, they're tiptoeing towards it.
I don't want to put nobody info out here, but that's fucking crazy.
Right,
brother.
and that's the point. The point is what success looks like in our industry is not what success looks like in any other industry. If you're making more than a national average income and you do this for a living,
Only
you
stand up, not
won
writing, not
not
production.
writing, not
You a bad mofo.
But that's the thing. Again, in DC, if I don't even have. By the way, I'm saying I want to do another 150 people. I only needed 30 more people last year. I'm sorry, 14 more people last year to make 10.5.
I don't know.
If
what
I had
that
sold
means.
14 more tickets last year, I would have made $10,500.
That's raw as hell.
How many of those do I need to do to make 90 grand? You only need 9 markets where you're big enough
To do that.
to make 90 grand. 9 markets. That means I could do 9 weekends. There are 52 of them in a year. That means I would have 43 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
Not 43 weekends, 43 full weeks off. And then on those other 9 weeks, I still am home for 4 out of the fucking 7 days.
But Monk, let's be real. The things you're doing in DC
right.
are not doable by a lot of comedians. A lot of comedians, to
That's
your point,
fair.
make bread, but to go and pull up in a city like that, you need a connection with the city.
You
need
do.
a history with the city. You need a connection. You need a connection to the local culture. That
But
is
here's
so
the question,
hard to do.
though.
By
Well,
It is hard,
well,
but that's
do
how
you?
comics used to do.
And-
I'll give you a perfect
I
example.
think that's the way to do it. To your point, but I don't think you need any of that shit anymore.
No, not anymore. Not because of
No, you
social
get your,
media.
you get your
Yeah.
fucking followers up.
No, you
Ah.
get social media. You know who's done a good job of turning social media success into a legitimate tool? Like I'm not talking Matt Rife.
Oh, I know who. I
You're
think
not
I know
talking
who you're
Kevin
gonna
Hart?
say.
I'm talking Tierra.
Oh, I was gonna
my
say
cousin Tiara.
I was gonna say T Murph.
T Murph as well. As a matter of fact, T Murph is an even better example because T Murph did the traditional thing first.
Yeah.
Where T Murph had the TV show, was on for
He's got
multiple
the skill.
seasons. He's a skilled
He's got the
comic.
skill.
But also T Murph started selling out after the show was canceled, and he really started to focus on his Facebook is crazy. 500,000 people on Facebook is a crazy amount.
Because that's the most active app.
That's the
To ticket sales.
For
yeah,
ticket
it's
sales,
the most
that's
it's
the
the
app.
highest converter.
It was
yeah.
TikTok is I would love to have 10 million people follow me on TikTok. I could sell out shows, but if you have 1 million on Facebook
And they buying
and they're buying,
everything you do.
you could. And again, I'm that person. I'm not. If I can make 10 grand in a weekend in 15 cities, I'm probably only doing 15 fucking cities a year. I'm not doing 34. I'm not road because I have kids and I like my wife. I think a lot of comics are on the road because
Kyrie's
they don't
upset
fucking like
because
their-
we're talking about a tour, and he's like, "I want to do you for 30 weekends."
Because I also don't have kids or
Right.
a wife, so
No,
I'm just
no.
like,
Yeah,
yo,
we'll
roll
go.
like
No.
me.
We'll go.
If my
No.
wife was available to tour with me, because I know some comics who their wife is their tour manager.
That's some of the coolest shit.
Their
Oh.
kids are grown, their wife is a tour manager, and so in their rider, their travel budget for the club is that they have to pay for 2 people, the comedian and their tour manager. So you paying for me and my wife to fly everywhere, and I'm gonna make 10 grand too as well in addition? Come on now. That's a great life. Am I Kevin Hart famous? No, I don't need to be. And in fact, I prefer not to be if I can make that kind of money that comfortably without being that kind of famous. I want $1 million. Yeah, everybody does. But what you have to exchange for that million is you have to decide for yourself, is it worth it? For me, every time I go out of town, I realize I don't enjoy the out of town part. I'm only having a great time on the stage. That's why I was so upset about the Philly show, because if I didn't even have a good time on stage, fuck, I wasted my fucking time. I wasted those people's time. They didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve that. I had to fucking leave my family to go to a whole nother place and not have fun. Why?
And I think that, and it's to your point, man. You at a point in your life where you have some important stuff cooking, and it's like even your language. You said I got to go versus I get to go.
Right.
And that's only because, like you said, you had other real life things going on.
But before my son was born, my wife used to tour with me.
That's raw.
There were a bunch of places that my wife had never been that she got to go for the first time because she was on the road with me. She'd never been to Boston before. I did a show in Boston. Shout out to Tawanda Gona. He used to have this show called Blacknificent. It was the Orpheum Theater on Harvard's campus. It was dope as shit. And we happened to fly in a blizzard. 2015, if you go back and look at the the weather in Boston, early in the year, they had a big fucking blizzard, 2 feet of snow overnight. Like, we flew in, we checked into the hotel. It just started snowing when we got there. We woke up the next morning, every road was closed. There was a lake out in front of the hotel that froze all the way over. People were snow skiing down the street. They had skis on and they were skiing down the street. That was her first time in Boston. Her first time ever going to D.C. was with me. Her first time going to New York was with me because I was doing the nightly show on my honeymoon. They called me the day after I got married and said, "Hey, can you be in town?"
I remember the story for your first episode.
That's a hell of a wedding gift, though.
Yeah.
So that's like that, right? She got to meet Crazy Eyes from Orange Is the New Black. It was like it's an experience.
That was at a point when Orange Is the New Black was still
It was still popping,
yeah,
right? So
I do want to meet.
When I say I get right, like I get to do stand up, but I got to go out of town to do it. I say that because I don't enjoy being away from my family. It doesn't change like, oh, I've been doing it forever. It's not fun. I know it sounds cute when you hear about, yeah, I like being in and out of the airport.
What's your priorities,
all the time.
right? Like, you talking about
I'm
little
old.
human that's gonna be walking, talking, drawing,
And they change so fast
things.
at that age.
Dog, they'll leave a shoe size in a week. You know what I mean? So like, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because your feet still growing, right?
Getting open mouth laughs over there. Eh?
I'm sorry, man. We just hadn't taken a shot at you.
I was wondering when we were going to
Really?
start the episode.
That's where I
and
got it from.
I don't know. Kathryn usually holds it together better. I don't know what's going on. Is it? Well, you just came from DC.
The weed.
I
hit.
did come from DC. I was about to say
The
at some
edible
point we're going to need to
probably
announce that none of us have shows tonight. So we did, in fact, take an edible for this episode, which is why we haven't introduced ourselves or introduced the episode, as it turns
30
out.
minutes in and nobody said
No,
what
I
we
did
Doesn't
actually
matter.
say like, yo,
Doesn't
but
matter.
nobody listens to me. Nobody
never,
listens to me.
ever. Not at home, not away.
Well,
I was a motivational speaker and they didn't listen to me.
Introduce yourself now. Yeah, and
Not
I think
very
I think we should
motivational.
talk about why we're all out of whack too, because we have a little bit to talk about
Lead
news
the
wise.
way,
But I think
Kathryn,
it's
you
gonna.
got this.
I think okay. My name is Kathryn Gongor. This is Beyond Bars.
What the hell is this motion with your hands?
That's
My
high.
name
did
is
you just
Kathryn
swim
Gongor. This
through-
is Beyond Bars. We all were traveling or had kind of fucked up weeks, so
Shit
welcome
week,
to
man.
welcome to our wonderland.
Oh, that's not fair either. We actually had amazing weeks with some shitty things happen.
I actually,
still alive.
I'm on
Look
board
at
with
that,
that. I
bro. You
don't.
go with
Are
that?
you? Are you there with
Fuck
that?
no.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so.
But to
we're
be
there.
fair, your
Your
what
week is
happened
tougher.
is
Ass.
a little
Yeah,
tough.
your
I'm
week is
so
tougher.
mad. It's so bad.
Your week is
My-
tougher.
I'm complaining about getting paid to do a job that I love to do, and just not doing it as well as I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
That's a bullshit
I had a couple
complaint.
of those too,
Yeah.
but they were bookended by some of my best. So it's like
Right.
once again, hey, shut the fuck up.
Right, and I don't think
Shut
that's
up.
fair. I don't think that's fair, but also, it's your choice. It's a perspective choice, right? I can't say to you, yeah, but Kathryn, think of all of the great things that are happening in your life. Don't be sad
Yeah.
about that. But you can. You can go, you know what though? This other good thing happened, so it balances out.
Yeah, you can reframe. But yes, I just got back from DC. Do you guys want to do your names and intro? I'm not.
How was
I'm
DC?
not doing the
We're not-
structure today.
We're not doing how
I'm not
how
policing
was DC?
today.
We're not going to talk about how
To
was
be
DC.
fair,
We're doing local
This
community.
is Beyond Bars, brought to you by THC. We usually
Yes.
do our drugs after the episode.
We do.
But this time,
But we are in talks for
when I
we
say
in talks
we,
for weed money,
I mean
so
me
we thought
and
we'd come
Kathryn.
correct.
Kyrie's never not high. And
No,
that's
never not.
fair.
I hope my grandma don't see this.
No, we're not.
She know.
Yeah, she do know.
She
But you,
know. Your eyes ain't
function.
never
We
been
talked. We
open.
talked about this with some of the people that have been talking to us about some money. About like we all kind of represent different
Types of high.
Yeah, types of high and types of imbibers.
Imbibers, yeah.
That was a big word.
Imbibers.
It wasn't.
No.
It was
Thank
3
you.
syllables.
I was like,
Don't do that.
It's common. Because I don't know what it means.
You don't know what imbibe means?
Who?
Fuck.
Embiid?
No, not Joel
For Philly?
Embiid.
No. Not
Well,
what
while we're
talking
on drugs, we had started. I gotta do it. I said I wouldn't be a cop, but here we are.
I wouldn't be a cop.
Here we are.
I said I wasn't going to be a
wouldn't do
cop,
it,
and here we
but
are,
it's-
flashing our badges.
But
Up
we
against
can't
the
do
wall,
white people.
Kyrie.
We just can't help it. We can't help it. But I wanted to circle back to synthesizing some of the conversation that we were having around drugs and mushrooms and weed and incarceration.
I don't think I'd ever thought about that, though, how helpful weed has been mental health wise, how little connection they make to inmates and their mental health issues that might have helped them get there. And I think it's interesting when someone shoots up a school, for example, there's a group of people who immediately talk about mental health. Why is shooting a school up the only thing where we consider there's something, it must be mental health? Drug dealing is not a mental health issue, right? Physical violence against your neighbor is not a mental health issue. Breaking and entering is not a mental health issue. None of these are issues about lack of resources. None of these are those types of issues. That doesn't make sense to me. You live in a society where you know you are risking your health and freedom for whatever this is, and you can't stop yourself. Now, granted, we know a lot of these people are under the age of 25 or 30, and their frontal lobe isn't fully developed. So we're asking people to make good decisions under pressure without the peace of mind that allows them to do that. And so, I think today was the first time I thought to myself, and I'm sure somebody's doing this, right, or has thought about it, but give mushrooms, like heroic doses, to inmates, and then let's start having that conversation. And so many people are afraid of a bad trip.
And
Well, I have- yeah, and I have-
a heroic dose is a 3.5.
A
Right?
heroic dose is anything over 3 grams. Yeah, so like I've done an 8.
Okay, I have an answer. I have an answer to your question, and then a question about what we were talking about. So we're talking about why we only talk about mental health when someone shoots up a school is because so we don't talk about the guns. That's the only reason we're talking about mental health. Just to period
mental
that.
health is only
That's the only.
prioritized when we can.
It's not
circumvent
prioritized. It's not
something else.
prioritized.
It's
It's
politicized.
scapegoated.
Yeah,
Yes, it's not even. It's the only time we
politicized.
talk about it
Politicized.
is when we can't.
Because if
when
you
we
cared
don't
about
want to talk
mental
about
health, then you would have listened when people said we needed the resources. There would be
Yeah.
more mental health facilities out south and out west, but there aren't.
Yeah, that's not.
And
That's
there's
just
a reason why they aren't, because they
but-
don't give a fuck.
My question around
Ooh, that's spicy.
around
Once you
drugs
lock
and
down.
weed and mushrooms, and we were talking about all these things potentially utilizing in carceral facilities for mental health purposes. So one time after I was talking about teaching yoga in jail on stage, I'm just remembering this, and I can't believe I never came back to this to make this a bit.
This is good
But
weed.
yeah,
That's what's happening.
it is. One time I was talking about teaching yoga in county on stage, and afterward, someone came up to me and he said, "You just do that to keep Black people docile." And so, is there, first of all, like I have my own sort of thoughts about where that might have come from, and is that valid? And I've walked myself all the way around those blocks a couple times, but would that be like a consideration, a concern? Because sometimes I hear that in the same way of like the way we talk about you only can make enough money so that you don't have freedom to like think and do and all of that, like that kind of containment. Would that be potentially like
I've had my most
numbing?
radical thoughts.
Do you know what I'm saying? I agree.
I've had my most radical thoughts on weed and mushrooms. The most radical ideas I've ever had, I was under the influence of either psilocybin or THC. And the reason is, under those two drugs, under the influence of those two drugs, everything else gets stripped away.
The ego.
The
title.
ego's gone. And so when I'm thinking, especially on mushrooms, when I'm thinking on mushrooms, I am thinking bigger picture than I'm ever thinking when I'm not. And it's because it's not about me anymore. When I'm on mushrooms, I am not trying to solve my problem. I'm trying to solve the world's problem. You know what I mean?
That's true. You
Because
said
we're all
connected to the
connected.
yeah,
You're connected to
the
the universe.
universe.
I literally have had beef with people, done mushrooms, and said, damn, I wish they could take some mushrooms so we could have this conversation and iron this shit out, because it's not really worth it. And I am a certified Kendrick Lamar level hater. If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. I want bad things to happen to you, your progeny, your mom. I want everything associated with you to wither and die on the vine. And then I take mushrooms and I'm like, or maybe we could just get a quiet place, man, do some mushrooms and sit down and iron this out. Because truthfully, the ugliest parts of you, I can recognize them as part of me that maybe I just have better control over. So I'm mad at you for not having control over this part that I actually recognize as something that I feel. I just don't let it out. Why am I mad at somebody for having less control than me?
You know what's crazy? The shrooms for me always allow me to see the me and others, but also the difference that I had, the privilege that I had. Like I be seeing people wild, and I'm like, damn, Joe, I was privileged enough to have a mama that was in the same mind to teach me better, and that person wasn't privileged like that. And so shrooms will have me go from mad to I'm feeling bad for a motherfucker. Like, bro, you got to live the rest of your life.
Isn't that interesting?
A adult that can't process or can't do X, Y, and
Isn't
Z.
that interesting that you get to you, and it's not even like pity.
It's like super empathy.
It's
like super
empathy, right?
Yeah.
And so to your question, I absolutely get where that's coming from, but let's not, even in the humanizing of the carceral population, let's not pretend that there's some radical tradition that got everybody incarcerated. Let's not do that. Let's not go, yeah, you just want them all calm so that they're not out here changing the world, because that's not what we were all doing. I did not get locked up for being a revolutionary at all. I got locked up because I sold cocaine and I shot at people who tried to stop me from selling cocaine. That's not what you want in the community. Now, were there other ways to get me to stop? Sure. But yoga as a practice is not about making you less aggressive. It's about allowing you to control and center yourself and find calm in the chaos. Boxers do yoga and will knock you the fuck out. MMA fighters practice yoga, practice mindfulness. We're talking about me going on stage and not having the presence of mind to connect with the audience. Mindfulness would have helped me in that moment. It wouldn't have stopped me from being aggressive or telling my jokes. So I think there's a belief that yoga is, I understand where he was trying to say.
I think like weed and mushrooms, which is like there's a misunderstanding.
Right.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't smoke weed before she goes to bed because it keeps her mind too active. Every now and then she'll be like, I'm going to smoke with you, because she knows we're going to stay up laughing. But if she legitimately has something to do, then she won't smoke because her brain stays at. Even if we're smoking indica, her brain is like,
Yeah.
We have thoughts. We have notes on your
We
today.
have notes.
We got stuff to do.
Notes on your today if you want to think about them.
Notes.
And people with anxiety don't need additional help with notes.
I think also when we look at whether it be shrooms to help with depression, yoga to help with mindfulness and mind control, or breath work, I can't help but feel like there's a corporate hand in all of these things, because when you start to do those things, a lot of the big pharma solutions, or not even solutions, the big pharma band-aids don't sit too good while you're doing natural healing.
I stopped doing Wellbutrin once I started going back to the gym regularly and doing mushrooms periodically.
I'm sorry, what you call that thing? Wellbutrin.
Wellbutrin is an antidepressant, and truthfully, Wellbutrin saved my life. I was dark a year and a half ago, and I talked to my PCP and I was like, hey man, I think I need some Adderall or something. I can't focus. Primary care physician.
Oh yeah.
You don't have insurance. That's fucked up.
Well,
talking to my doctor, and I'm like, yeah, He's like, no, you're depressed. And I'm like, well, but I can't focus. He was like, yeah, because you're depressed. And I got Wellbutrin, and it was brighter outside. And that's the only way I can describe it, because when I took mushrooms, like the colors seemed to pop. Wellbutrin wasn't that strong, but I didn't realize how dark I had gotten until I took the Wellbutrin and it lightened up.
Joe, you just fucked my head up, because when you start taking that shit, you do actually see a difference in the light.
You see
and I thought I was just high as hell.
Wow. It's like your brain gets out of its own way and allows more light in.
It's like a permanent filter over everything.
It's like a permanent filter. And so when I started taking the Wellbutrin, I felt great because I had felt bad for so long. What I didn't realize was I no longer had the capacity to feel bad. That's not good. That came out. That's how I meant
it makes sense.
That's how I meant it. But not having the ability to feel bad when there are legitimately things to feel bad about is not healthy. That's big pharma going, hey, we can keep them docile. They'll just be happy. That's not what happens with mushrooms. I'm still capable of understanding and empathizing with
Feelings?
awful fucking things. I have feelings. I'll cry if something makes me sad while I'm on shrooms. I will let it out. Wellbutrin doesn't allow that. The gym gives me the dopamine that scrolling the internet did. I don't need it anymore. I feel better. But also, I don't lose control of my natural fucking mind. So, yeah, I think natural healing methods, there's a place for them. I think that you can go too far. You know what I mean? You got cancer and your eyeball falling out. I don't think you're going to be able to put a balm over your eye and just heal it. You need to figure something else out, right? But, you know, outside of those extreme cases, there's some food is medicine. If you're eating healthy, outside of genetics and environmental things, you're probably going to be okay for a while. I wouldn't suggest not taking vaccines.
Planet Fitness.
I want to be careful. I'm not telling you not to get vaccinated. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying take care of your body.
You went for the good Samaritan route.
I was
taking a shot.
Yeah, she always fucking.
I heard it. I was gonna let you have that one. You deserved it.
It was a callback to yours, frankly. So I think we missed that at the beginning of the episode.
Oh yeah, y'all missed it.
That was a team effort.
I told Kyrie he needed to stop going to Planet Fitness because he was just going for the free food.
Yes,
and that's not
correct.
a good way to work
at
out.
My poverty.
Laugh at your poverty.
Anyway, it sounds like we solved, as usual, the carceral
system.
system.
Actually solve because
I'm going to get my chicken. I'll be right back.
We are on a time clock today.
Do not cut this out of the show.
And then
you fucking leaving the live podcast to go get chicken is the blackest shit you could have did, Monk.
We are well into time.
Jesus Christ.
Is there anything we specifically want to talk about today?
Absolutely love if we could discuss the loopholes in our government and or just governmental leaders for accountability.
Okay.
Especially just with the whole.
We can do like 5 on that.
If that, I'm interested to just know what are the solutions.
Larry, I guess before Monk comes back, we're gonna talk more about Larry Hoover, but that's still going on.
Yeah.
And the judge doesn't look too happy about anything.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm interested in like, what does it look like to be wrong, and what are the ramifications in being wrong when you're in a position over somebody's life? Like, if I'm wrong at McDonald's, they fire you, dog. You know, they count the register and shit. What it look like if you be putting people in jail and they don't deserve it? You know what I mean? Like, for example,
think right now it look like not much, obviously.
Hell no. And that's the issue that I have.
If anything.
Is that there are a ton of people that make decisions on people who have not. But the people who have not actually outnumber those that have. And they have no say-so over the people that have doing wrong and being held accountable, because typically in restorative practices, you talk to the people you harmed and they help decide what has to happen next. I have not seen a corrupt politician or a dirty leader or somebody that's taking hush money on the side talk to the people who they harmed, take what it is they say you need to do on the chin and actually do it. You know what I mean? Like, I see a lot of just scathing, misdirection, redirection, lack of accountability, and like I could harp on Diddy all day long, but I just be looking like, damn, so like we let our politicians fuck us out of billions and nobody go to jail? Like, for sure Diddy, but like billions with people's lives is on.
Well, that's why when we were talking about Diddy last week too, I'm like, there's this hierarchy of like, first of all, the jump on, and I'm not saying he didn't do anything fucking wrong. Let me be very clear about that.
But you're right about the jump on.
But first of all, there's the jump and there's a pile, but there's also like, what is it better? Yes, like I think physical violence and physical acts against people are one thing, and at least we socially qualify those as worse. But like, I mean, when you're stealing tens of millions and billions of dollars, ruining like family after family after family's lives that are going to lead to economic disparity and poverty, and that are going to then lead to violence, because that's how we know that whole cycle works. Like, that to me is where we come back toward people like fucking Eric Adams and anyone that's just like
fuck Eric Adams.
But like, I said the name just when you got back intentionally.
My
so
bad.
you can have your moment. Yeah, I mean, same. Kyrie and I were just
so we're just talking about the lack of accountability upward, because although Diddy is a monster. Eric Adams is a monster. Bill Cosby is a monster. I just am looking for politicians to have the same type of accountability moment, because I don't see that. When we look at, you know what I'm saying, hundreds of thousands of Americans displaced from hurricanes, you telling me that you out of money? Dog, you can't work at Taco Bell, your register come up short. What are we doing? You just told me that them people sit in there and they play life and death, and they play these games with livelihood. Like, people can't afford rent. People can't bag of Doritos $10.
You're talking about that with the price gouging, where people were going, oh, inflation is up, inflation is up. Inflation was never up. What was up was the corporations knew that they could continue to charge things, and they were blaming it on the government, right? So the corporations are going, yeah, inflation is up. That's crazy. And then they had record-breaking profits. How do you get record-breaking profits without record-breaking price gouging? Same way that we have loss prevention. Loss prevention in those big stores would do way better by focusing on wage theft. Because if you are focusing on wage theft, every single study done shows that Walmart, for example, steals more in wages every single year by making people work through lunches or work overtime or work. You see what I'm saying? They're stealing wages to a degree that is way more than what's being stolen from them in, like, people coming in and taking shit. So if you really want to cut their losses,
you know what you just inspired me to do? I want to see a reverse. Now I know what I want to see.
You want
I'm
to
going to steal from Walmart tomorrow.
No,
start stealing.
You said stop? Never mind. So look, this is the real thing. I'm saying, when they pulled up and they was like, yo, crack or cocaine, you going to jail till you see hell. You with crack, but if you with cocaine, let's just talk about it.
But that's what we're doing now.
And so I would love to see the reverse. Corporate law needs to get put on their fucking head. Corruption needs to get put on their fucking head. I double dog dare you to be on the Epstein list and a Diddy list. Your ass is getting life. You're getting a lethal injection. I want to see.
Now my chicken is here.
Now the chicken is here. Now he gets up and he thumbs up.
Right when Kyrie
I'm
was
going to say
at
this
the
clip
top.
for February to show them how your ass is acting. You out here smiling in the ear for chicken. God damn it. Well, he's having a powerful moment.
He'll be back. I don't think there's anything else. I'm just looking at stuff that, like, we kind of thought to cover. Yeah, we can talk about whenever.
I think we covered a lot of things. I'm just really
You see that 50
disappointed.
Cent's making the Diddy doc?
50 Cent was one of the people
Not mad about that.
I watched his interview, and he was talking about how episodic things are alive and they won't die, because a movie requires you to go get that movie star. You got to pay that movie star big money. You got to make your money back in the box office after the first couple weekends. If you don't, it's a loss, and you got to make so much. Whereas with the episodic thing, you don't actually need a lot, right? You need good talent, you need a good writer, and that's a lot cheaper than going to get Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? And so that's why you're looking at everything shipped towards an episodic type of format, because we don't have to put a bunch of money in a promo. We don't got to put a bunch of money in Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? So it's just like, episodic is just the way it's going. And if everything is shit, what the fuck? Damn, you got some good chicken. Anytime I got
I hope that just is, like, forefront.
I really hope y'all see that. He just came here with some good-ass chicken.
We're not sponsored, but this chicken good as shit.
I like hot chicken.
Maybe soon.
And he wouldn't get the hot chicken when he was in Nashville. I DM'd him and told him to get the hot chicken. And he like, oh, you trying to make me fat. Then he take his ass back to Chicago and get the hot chicken. Y'all see that box? That's a gentrification box.
First of all, I want to be clear on one thing. I will never take diet suggestions from you. That will never, ever happen.
Bro, a food rant?
Well,
Go to hell.
if you
okay?
get-
Because what?
That's what would happen if I ate like you did, sir.
You finna eat hell right now. Hot chicken.
well, and on today's Beyond Bars,
Felonious Monk eats chicken.
we I think the only thing I specifically wanted to say was because we're getting some YouTube comments on some of the shorts that we've been put up, especially the reaction to crime is down for people we used to call criminals. Now we're calling someone different. A lot of people are like, crime is up for the people we still call criminals. I want to be explicit. Violent crimes are down 11%, which is the biggest drop over the last 20 years. So whoever decided to randomly comment that anonymously on YouTube, fuck you. I think that's all I had to say today, to be
But yeah,
honest.
and
A dick up. Eat one up until you hiccup. Eat a dick up till you hiccup.
You ain't even
And if you need further justification, because I'm assuming that you are white, 72% of Americans feel safer. 61% of those are white. So that's all I had to say today. I'm tired too.
And I just want to remind anybody watching the pod that like Woody Allen is still out there. Kevin Spacey is back making. I'm on bullshit, bro. I'm on fucking dirt. Kevin Spacey's still out there. Weinstein left jail. He walked. He's free. What we talking about out here? Stop playing with me, bro. I see the games y'all play, bro. Ooh, play them with your mama. Play them with somebody that love you, because I don't want to play them games.
Kyrie's having a bad day.
I'm having a real bad day, and I'm sitting there watching people talk some diddy. Man, your government. All them thousands of kids going missing and you ain't care. Talking about some baby oil. They use your tax dollars to fuck kids. Fuck you.
Oh. That was not what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, I didn't know we were gonna.
Did not
fuck
know.
Fuck
there, but
nah, I will.
No, we all know what you mean.
Yeah, we all know it's fuck Diddy forever here.
Mean.
But I think to your point,
we do need to make closing arguments. So
yeah,
let's hit
I was
it.
gonna say to your point, Kyrie. First of all, this chicken is phenomenal.
Fucking looks so good. It's steam coming off it.
Yeah, we gotta eat after.
Second, this is my first meal today, by the way. So it's 7 o'clock.
You just got off a plane to come here.
I came straight here because I missed Kathryn and the podcast.
And what you were saying was,
I was about to say it. So I was like, nah, fuck him.
in seriousness, I was so tired today too, and had so much work to catch up on after traveling. I almost canceled, but I was like, I kind of want to see the guys.
I promise you that I was about to cancel.
I'm
so tired. I didn't sleep last night.
That's how much we like each other. We legitimately were like, nah, I want to be here.
Yeah.
But I did want to say, like, the idea of drugs being criminal and then being used in the future to rehabilitate or rehabilitate now. That's what I consider radical thought, right? To take a thing that was used for this purpose and to turn it into something that's beneficial is more radical. And I've never, ever, ever had more radical thoughts than I've had on drugs. So I know that we were all raised that drugs are bad and this is good. But, you know, there's a reason people want you to think that. There's a reason that people want you to be sick. And it's so that they can medicate you.
Yeah. Manipulate, medicate.
So anyway, come see me in Brooklyn, October 25th. We could talk about drugs.
Love that. No notes.
I'd love to see you on October 18th. Let's do Ask a Comedian that I also created off of shrooms.
See?
Here in
Shout
Chicago at the Lincoln Lodge where we are recording this podcast, which we should have said at the top.
Yeah, I also want to start throwing up L's for Lincoln Lodge.
I thought that's what you're doing?
L's for Lincoln Lodge.
I thought that's how you danced.
Both. Two things to be true at the same time.
This is out, what, Tuesday?
This is Tuesday? Oh, I got a bunch of shows then. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in San Diego next week opening, but those shows will be fun. So find that if you'd like. And I don't think I've got anything to like call here in a while. Iowa in November.
We'll be out there in Dallas.
What are you doing in Iowa
next week?
Headlining at Don't Tell.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Headlining at
Don't Tell. So that one I am responsible for tickets for. Tickies. But yeah, come, follow the pod. We're going to do something here soon. We're going to do a live recording at the lodge soon.
So if you want to come and see us live, maybe ask questions or something.
Bring
some weed.
Stay tuned for
some weed.
That.
Please.
I also have Brooklyn, 275 Park is the name of the club, 275 Park in Brooklyn on October 25th. November 3rd, I am in Denver for my homeboy Philmon, a.k.a. Gattergish's birthday celebration. We're doing a club out there. December 3rd, I will be in Tacoma at the Tacoma Comedy Club. So if you're in the surrounding areas, that includes you, Seattle, all my Seattle Habishers, pull up. Please stop calling it that. That sounds...
That's what they call it, bro.
I don't give a fuck. Are you from there?
I'm trying to put you on. You finna go there. So you respect SeaTac, not me.
I need you to get a lot of your animosity towards whoever and aim it at them. You're being real aggressive.
You got it, everybody. Everybody today.
It's wild. That's it. Anyway, that's December 3rd. I'm at the Tacoma Comedy Club. And December 28th, 29th, and 30th, I'm back at my real home club, the DC Comedy Loft in Washington, D.C. Go ahead and buy tickets. All of those are on sale if you go to my link trees. All of them. Buy all the tickets. I need to sell out because baby need new shoes. Legitimately, his feet are fucking growing. He grew 2 inches this week somehow. Fucking sick.
Cute.
Fucking kids.
Do we have anything else when you say Rex? We're gonna be back. This one's gonna drop on Tuesday, and then the one after that will be our interview with Johnny of Contextos, since we're all moving around a little bit, and then we'll be back to talk some shit. So if there's shit you want to hear us, speaking of, talk about, I guess, tell us. We do have like some listeners now. We're getting we have some regulars that are actually listening and watching. So if you have stuff you want to talk to us about, let us know.
Kathryn
so we're not just
always reading the comments. She lets me know if y'all roast me. So
they roast you all the time.
Cool. Make sure that you also ask questions about the things that you want to see. Maybe you got a specific person you would love to see on her. Maybe like, oh, I want to know what Lil Durk, what he doing. Maybe you want to know why the mayor of Chicago got 3 hairstyles and you want us to bring them on here. I don't know. If you got suggestions on why Brandon Johnson has a fade, a mohawk, and a hot top at the same time, let's bring him on here. Let's ask him why is it legal for him to have
comedian.
Do they charge him for 3 separate cuts? It's like, yo, the box fade is going to be $40.
Let me get a 3 in the back, a 10 at the top.
What else were you trying to say? We got these people go.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Keep sharing, ask questions. Rock with us on all of the streaming stuff. So like we on YouTube, we on Spotify. Catch us on the gram. Catch us everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
And
we be on the TikTok.
People, man. Follow the people that you see on the podcast. Mohawk Johnson's story is not just aspirational. Mohawk does really good work in the community. He's extremely funny. He's a great content creator. Make sure that you follow the people that we're bringing up because these are people that we also respect, not only in the movement but also in their other endeavors. So.
Yeah, and to that end, we had always talked about, we're talking about impact work and some of the ways we might get grants and funds too. One thing that we have been wanting to do since the beginning of Beyond Bars is find a way to funnel the money that y'all are looking, the support directly to guests that we've had on here. So frankly, in order to do that, we need resources and time to set that shit up too. So I don't know if you know anything about that or you are someone that's like, yeah, I would love to donate my time to helping y'all set that up because I'm more organized than the 3 of you put together. We would love that kind of support.
That's a very low bar, by the way.
You can donate your time, is what she's saying. Please donate
or connect us to people that want to pay to put that shit together. Because it's important. We know that y'all want to support and we want it, but we're not just going to take it for ourselves unless that is what it's intended for. So that's that.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Be great, y'all. Monkey got chicken crumbs all on the mic. You better chill out for the hell in the next Popeyes commercial.
Bro, do you know how much they get paid for commercials? Put me in the fucking
I do know. That's why I talk shit about it. And like, by the way, that diabetic shit killed over the fucking last weekend. Remember I was here talking about
I don't think you should say diabetic shit killed.
Damn, it do kill. Ooh, this is awkward.
And here we are back in corporate responsibility at Planet Fitness.
Hey, look, because I saw how much commercials pay, and they talking about residuals 20% of this? What the fuck? You gonna hit me with 20% of this after I get this up front? Mm-hmm. Nigga, type 1 and type 2. I don't give a fuck.
Hold on. Not just that, but you're gonna get that quarterly as long as it's running.
You hear me? And they run another one if it's doing good.
Oh, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it to pay for your insulin. So.
I don't like when they do the open mouth laugh. I don't fucking like that.
I got an open from Felonious today. That'll carry me through the weekend.
We're looking for new hosts.
Looks like we're down 2 hosts. I fired both of them motherfuckers. Wow.
Check out Indeed.
Okay.
Check out the Indeed post.
Looking for a new white lady and a new old black man.